to a world of disorder. Those are the biggest global trends today. As some of you know, I wrote a book back in 2004. I told Minister Livni this just the other day, called The World is Flat. And it was about how the world is getting connected. In 2011, I wrote a new book with my friend Michael Mandelbaum called That Used to Be Us, about America. And when I sat down to write the new book about America, the first thing I did was get the first edition of The World is Flat off my bookshelf to remind myself what I had said. I opened it up to the index. I looked under A, B, C, D, E, F, F, A, F, A, C. Facebook wasn't in it. So when I was running around the world saying the world is flat, we're all connected, Facebook didn't exist. Twitter was still a sound. The cloud was still in the sky. 4G was a parking place. LinkedIn was a prison. Applications were what you sent to college. Big data was a rap star. And Skype was a typo. Okay? All of that happened in just the last 7 years. The world's plumbing has fundamentally been transformed. We have gone from connected to hyper-connected. And the pace of change has multiplied, and you ain't seen nothing yet. My friends Eric Brynjolfsson and Andrew McAfee, who just wrote a book called The Second Machine Age, tell the story to explain Moore's law in computing of the man who invented chess. And after he invented chess, the king, who he invented it for, was so thrilled. He said, I grant you any wish. What would you like? He said, I'd like to feed my family. He said, it shall be done. What would you like? He said, I'd just like you to take 1 grain of rice, put it on the first square of a chessboard, and just double it every square. And the king said, it shall be done. Until he realized that doubling something 63 times takes you from 1 grain of rice to 18 quintillion. In terms of Moore's law now, the doubling of computing power every 18 to 24 months, we've just entered the second half of that chessboard. You have not seen anything yet in terms of the pace of technological change. Now we've also gone, because of this, from interconnected to interdependent. And now we get really to the theme of what's going on here. When you go from an interconnected world to an interdependent world, you get a complete ecological and geopolitical inversion. What happens when you go from interconnected to interdependent is, first of all, your friends can kill you much faster than your enemies. If Greece collapses tomorrow, my 401k retirement plan in America will be fundamentally affected, and so will yours. We in America, we have a mutual defense treaty with Greece through NATO. We're obligated to protect Greece if Turkey attacks, yet Greece can kill me right now by collapsing. Your friends collapsing in an interdependent world are as dangerous as them rising. Think about your neighborhood. The other thing that happens is your rivals falling does become more dangerous than your rivals rising. If China does go, as some fear, from 8% growth to 1% growth, my retirement, my salary will probably be affected. If China gets another aircraft carrier, I couldn't care less. Let them get 2. Okay? So we, in an interdependent world, and this really applies to the environment, we're seeing a huge inversion. The third thing that is happening is the Cold War world has dissolved. The East-West conflict is over. It's not about North-South. It's not about East-West. We are now seeing, and Israel is the lab test for this. The big division in the world is between the world of order and the world of disorder. Because in a hyper-connected world, we're literally seeing states blowing up. And when 50,000 people from Eritrea and Sudan walk across Egypt to Sinai, that's about people leaving the world of disorder and grabbing on to the islands of order. And that is going to be a huge geostrategic challenge for Israel going forward. Now, I've just spent, as I said, 3 months in the world of disorder. Fascinating experience, actually. I spent 3 months in Yemen, Syria, not consecutively, and Egypt. And the whole time, I've never done this as a Middle East correspondent, I spent with Arab environmentalists. Amazing community, very small, but incredibly interesting, incredibly dynamic. every bit as qualified as the wonderful Palestinian environmentalists I got a chance to spend time with today. The story of Yemen is very simple. If you think Gaza has water problems, let me show you Yemen. We traveled in Yemen to, people turn their cell phones off just for like 30 minutes. We traveled to Taz, which is in central Yemen, which is a city where the water tap comes on once every 40 days. And the rest of the time, people have to live off delivery of water via water trucks.